So therefore, if the demand of your environment outweighs what you're tolerant of, then you will break. But if you take a certain base, a base that you're comfortable with, and you add bit by bit a certain amount of stress, bit more stress, bit more stress, bit more stress, at a rate that you can thrive with, then that's when you get an increased tolerance to your environment. And that's the difference between acute and chronic load. Now, when I first started to rebuild the clinic, so we went from a 300 to an 1800 square foot premises, it took 6 times as long as it should have done. I was literally hemorrhaging money trying to get this thing sorted. The council were threatening us to go, that they were going to shut us down for us to go out of business because we didn't meet certain procedures, and they refused to meet with us. I had constant conflict with landlords, and I was also trying to manage my patient load at the same time. Every day I was waking up and knowing that I was going to have to do battle with the day. Is that acute or is that chronic load? Chronic load, because it's all day, every day. It got to the point where I started to feel a certain level of darkness around me. It would slow me down. Sometimes it would bring me to my knees. I just had to sit down. I would find myself walking at half the speed that I was used to. I'd find myself crying for no reason on the way to work. I'd find myself being so difficult to get out of bed. I would have to actually chuck myself out of bed to get out of bed in the morning. I started to eventually notice symptoms of what's called disassociation. I'd look at my hand and I wouldn't really think that it was mine anymore. I would see the walls and they'd be bending, until eventually, after all these symptoms started to accumulate, I collapsed at work. And then it was at that point that I decided that I had to see a counsellor. Everything in the background was good. I was sleeping more than I'd otherwise sleep. I was eating all the best foods that I could eat. I was exercising. I was doing all the things that should have made me able to deal with this period of my life. But I couldn't, because although I had a healthy background, the load that I'd exposed myself to was so chronic and so intense that I could not adapt to it. And that is the problem when it comes to what a lot of you guys might be experiencing coming up to an exam period or something like that. If you cannot tolerate mentally what you're asking yourself to do, then unfortunately you're starting to go towards that point or that mental state where you start to get a little bit uneasy. And the key is to enter that phase of your life fully prepared, with a state of mind and a state of physical well-being that you know can tolerate what you're about to put yourself through. If I hadn't had expanded so quickly, if I hadn't gone from a clinic that was 6 times the size, I might have adapted to it a lot better. I might have been at least tolerant of it. But unfortunately, for a small amount of time, it broke me. Fortunately, we're still able to finish the project, we're still able to finish the clinic, and now I can reassess my own mental state and come back a lot stronger.